Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Good morning. So, today's talk is going to be on suffixes and reference words. We have been talking about developing vocabulary and affixes, that is suffixes and prefixes collectively known as. So, today we are going to do suffixes and also reference words. Now, reference words is first I will talk about reference words, which I am going to do in the next half of today's lecture. I will begin with suffixes and I will define suffixes also for those who are not sure about it. Reference words, and we are going to do reference words, lots of them today in the second half or second section of our lecture. But to explain what these are words which have come to become a very important part of our day-to-day language. Of course, by day-to-day language I mean higher and advanced level of language. These words have their roots in foreign languages, yes, and we have been doing quite a bit of that as well. But today I am going to look at certain words and expressions that have their origin from religion, from various religious texts, from literary texts and biblical sources, as well as medicine and other professions. We may never realize that many of the words which we use in our everyday language and communication, they have their origin in something that we are not even we are not remotely knowledgeable or aware of. So, that is what we are going to do today. I am going to draw your attention to some of the important words that may appear frequently, that do appear frequently, and that may appear for you as well in your competitive exams. And what is their origin, what is their meanings, and how they are used in contemporary contexts and usage. So, suffixes. What are suffixes? Suffixes are those letters, a group of letters. It can be a letter or a group of letters added at the end of a word, which makes a new word. Now, if you look at the list of these words, and I am going to give you meanings of these are just examples. This is not, of course, a definitive list of suffixes. So, these are examples of certain suffixes, words which use ate as a suffix. Okay, what happens when you use a suffix is the new word is most often a different word class from the original word. So, you can say to consume something, that is a verb, and consummate becomes an adjective. That is what we mean by changing the class. Regular is an adjective, regularly becomes an adverb. You have changed the class of the original word. And if you have your Cambridge dictionary and if you have your Oxford dictionary, Advanced English Language Dictionary, you will find at the end of those books there are several pages, okay, running. It runs into several pages and gives you the suffixes and the word categories. Okay. So, it is a very useful tool that you have in your hands, these two dictionaries. I have advised you to keep looking up these dictionaries from the very first lecture. So, please refer to them as you do today's lecture, as you attend today's class, and see how useful and how interesting suffixes can be. They change the class of the original word and also add something more to it, add a meaning, new meaning to that. So, first suffix that we are going to look at, of course, I am not going to give you the list of entire suffixes, I cannot do that, all the possible existing suffixes, but only some that are important from exam point of view. So, ate, it is used as an adjective ending. Ameliorate, the first word here is something is to make better, to improve. Okay? To make better, to improve, that is the meaning. You will find this word very, very commonly used. Next word is attenuate, and attenuate is to make thin, to weaken. Attenuated. Finances get attenuated. Consummate. Consummate is is to bring to the highest point. Okay, it is as verb, it means to bring to the highest point, to bring to fulfillment, to complete. As an adjective, it means complete in every detail, perfect, a consummate artist. So, James Cameron is a consummate artist. Mani Ratnam is a consummate artist. So, that is how we use an out and out someone who is very particular about details, attention to details, and is perfect. Desiccate, look at the spelling, D-E-S-I-C-C-A-T-E, is to dry up, dehydrate. Desiccated lips of a traveler in a desert. Disparate, it's not desperate, you are desperate when you want something very badly, desperate to get the tickets to the latest show in town. Disparate means unlike, different, dissimilar, bringing together of disparate elements. So, look at the spelling, D-I-S-P-A-R-A-T-E, unequal, different, dissimilar. We often say this, this building was constructed by using disparate elements from all over the place. This the faculty is, it constitutes disparate kind of people. Okay, not all are equal, not all are similar, though they may work together. So, this is just an example. A team may comprise of disparate elements. Importunate is urgent, in demand, insistent. Your importunate insistence on getting the work done, that is why we spoilt it, because of your importunate insistence. So, urgent, in demand, annoyingly. Okay. So, it is urgent and in demand, we are very urgent, you have to have it now. So, it is importunate. The hotel guest and his importunate behavior, you know, he was always, I want it now, here, right away. Okay. These are very annoying people. Next suffix is ESCE. The Latin verb ending ESCERE means to begin to or to become. English adjective and noun suffixes are essent and essence. For example, you have effervescent, to begin to boil over, to bubble, and when you say effervescent, effervescent personality, boiling over, bubbling, ebullient, okay. So, someone who is very chirpy, bright, maybe not the exact meanings, but chirpy and bright, vivacious. Often we call teenagers, a teenage girl, and effervescent, and she is effervescent on screen, bubbling, okay, very chirpy. Effervescence is bubbling and excitement. So, one is an adjective, effervescent. Effervescence is a noun whenever you have something ending in S-C-E-N-C-E, it becomes a noun, it's excitement. Whenever something ends with an M-E-N-T, it is again a noun. So, effervescence, whenever anything ends with S-C-E-N-C-E, it is a noun. Whenever a word ends with S-C-E-N-T, then it is an adjective. Next word is coalesce. Again, a very popular word with examiners. To grow together. Everything coalesced together, was brought together. Very, very high sounding word and used in very niche kind of situation. Look it up. What does it mean to come together, to grow together? Yeah. So, coalesce. I wanted to look at another suffix fy, words ending in fy, and that becomes a verb. So, pure is an adjective, purify is a verb, deity is an adjective, deify is to make someone a god of, deity is God. Okay? But when you deify someone, what are you doing? You are making someone or giving someone a god-like station or kind of status. So, fy, ending in fy, to make a god of, to exalt someone to that level. Rectify is to make something right, correct or adjust. So, rectification and rectify is to make something right. The entire idea to make something. Yeah. So, it is verb. Stultify is to make something look foolish, to cause someone or something to appear foolish or ridiculous. So, that is stultify. Think of the kind of popular culture that you have around, the kind of music, the run of the mill pot and the run of the mill song and dance situations with pots and pans all over. So, that becomes stultifying kind of situation, foolish and ridiculous. Next word is edify, E-D-I-F-Y. This is to uplift, to enlighten and to uplift, to make something better. Edification is the noun. Next suffix is IVE, IVE. We say furtive, for example, furtive, which is stealthily, which is secret, which is like a thief. So, furtive glances, furtive look, okay, very secret looks for whatever reason. Entered the house in a furtive manner. Now, palliative, palliative is given here, is like a cloak, it is acting to soothe pain or distress temporarily, alleviating. So, palliative, sometimes we even call or name some certain kinds of medicines palliative, a palliative care, soothing pain. We can't do anything, but we can only reduce the pain. Some words ending in IVE can also be taken as nouns, alternative, conservative, diminutive. So, they are not everything that ends in IVE. So, therefore, that is the idea. Please be very careful. Not everything is what it appears to be or seems to be. There are always exceptions. Alternative to this is not an adjective, but a noun. A girl of diminutive size is not an adjective, but a noun. And my parents are pretty conservative in their approach. It's a noun. Yeah, it's not an adjective. We have words ending in ACIOUS or ICIOUS. Audacious, for example. What? Audacity. Audacity is your noun and audacious behavior. Okay. Audacious comes from audacity. It means someone who has the nerve, the courage to do something. It can be used both in positive and negative way. Voracious, again, ACIOUS, having a huge capacity for something. Voracious reader is a, I would like to think of myself as a voracious reader, someone who likes to read a lot, who consumes lots of books. And you also say voracious voracious appetite, someone who likes to eat a lot, like a glutton. So voracious is something enormous, big. You don't call someone a voracious person just like that, huge person, so voracious person. No, it has to follow up with a certain kind of a noun. You have an appetite, or you have a appetite for reading or something like that. So appetite for food, appetite for reading, appetite for life, poetically speaking. So you have to have that kind of a noun there. It's an adjective. Now we have another set of suffixes ending in ARCH, monarch, for example, right? Monarch is someone who rules. And we also have ARCHY. Let's think of anarchy, oligarchy. So words ending in arch and archy, these are suffixes that suggest rulers and rule. So monarchy, anarchy, oligarchy. When do you have anarchy? When there is lack of rule, disorder. Everyone is out on the streets and protesting, and they no one to control. Things go out of control. There is anarchy all over. Oligarchy, ruled by the chosen few. Maybe the richest, maybe the most intellectual, maybe the most domineering. The oligarchy. We have next suffix CIDE. CIDE. It's a Latin suffix. It has origin in Latin, in the Latin language, and it stands for kill and killer. So we get a number of words like regicide, killing of your. See, this is the suffix CIDE. You kill your king, you are regicide. When you kill your father, you are patricide. This is an act of patricide. And fratricide is when you kill your brother. You know, fraternity is the noun. So parricide, regicide, fratricide, and you also have genocide, which is wiping out national, ethnic or religious groups. This the word came into existence during the Nazi war crimes during the Second World War and the years that preceded it. So I am sure most of you know the history, you know something about the Holocaust. If you don't know, please look it up. These things may appear for the reading passages. So genocide. Homicide, of course, killing of one's fellow man. So you have the cop hero in several Hollywood films, you know, homicide detective. He investigates killing of people. You have words ending in phile. Look at this suffix phile. Comes from the Greek word philos, philos, that is loving. So when you are a bibliophile, the way it is written, you are a lover of books. Biblio, books. You are a bibliophile and you are a lover of books. Francophile, a lover of France or all things French. So people who have those exotic kinds of taste, they may call themselves, or European taste, they may call themselves, you know, I like everything that is French or that is English. So you become an Anglophile. Anglophile, and we also have a word such as Indophile. Very often we find that there are so many people from across the world who are very fond of all things Indians and concerning India. So Indophile. Anglophile, all things concerning the English speaking part of the world. It could be the US, Canada, and also England, of course. So, PHILE suffix standing for loving. We have a suffix and RY, words ending in RY. So, you have a word such as bigotry, BIGOTRY. This is extreme intolerance. Yeah, generally we say religious bigots cannot tolerate people of different or other religions. We have gimmickry. Now, gimmickry is something that is very interesting. You are resorting to lot of gimmickry things, it is used in a very shallow way. So, a gimmick is a shallow way to attract attention, to gain more eyeballs, so you are or to gain more acceptance. So, you resort to using certain gimmicks. You have a word like gadgetry, which is use or collection of mechanical devices. So, all that gadgetry that I see here, it has led to nothing. We also have another interesting word ending in ry, mimicry, which is act of mimicking or imitating. Okay? And then you have a word like ribaldry, which means using coarse or indecent language. Shakespeare was known for using a lot of ribaldry in his plays. Therefore, he had to be, and if you may recall, we had talked already about someone who was very fond of removing the objectionable language from Shakespearean play, and we have a term for that, bawdlerize, the act of removing anything that is coarse or indecent. Of course, what is coarse or indecent varies from culture to culture and time to time. What was considered indecent 50 years ago may not be, may be very acceptable today. We have a man who does a job kind of thing. So, we have ARY, words ending in ARY. So, a word like antiquary, one who studies ancient things, antiquary. And we have a word like lapidary, one who cuts precious stones, very exotic, very sort of uncommon kinds of works, antiquary and lapidary. We have words ending in ARD. So, we have something like dastard, which means one who is cowardly, dastard in war. And we have a word like sluggard, one who lies and does nothing, he is lazy, idle person. So, sluggard. We have ER, very common suffix, many words end in ER. Advisor, broker, amateur. Amateur is someone who participates for the love and not for love of something and not for money. So, amateur musician, amateur singer, amateur dancer. Basically, it's originally it was used to suggest someone who participates for the love of the sport. Now, amateur has come to include a number of other situations and events also, not for money, but for the love of something. We have a suffix ITE. So, we have something like anchorite, one who withdraws from the world, he becomes a religious recluse, a hermit like situation. So, anchorite. Anchorite. Oh, it's given here, word ending in ITE. We have a list of diminutives, and here I have given you such words. Now, these suffixes are CLE, CULE, LE. The Latin form is, or Latin verb group of letters is CUIUS. Corpuscle, a little body. Minute particle, a body cell. Okay? Corpuscles. Homunculus, a little man, dwarf, mannequin. not mannequin as in you find in stores, but mannequin, M-A-N-I-K, mannequin. So, M-A-N-I-K-I-N, a dwarf. Minuscule, okay, very small, infinitesimal. So, that is very diminutive, very small. You have nozzle, nozzle of a jug, jar, a little nose, spout of a hose. So, you have all these words ending in CLE, CULUS, CULE, these suggest lack of height, small size. We have words ending in ABLE and IBLE showing or capability or fitness. So, you have feasible, which is practicable. We have feasible, which is workable. We have expugnable, which is unable to be outfought, which is unconquerable. It is impregnable, you know. So, this job cannot be, these people are, this corporate is so huge, humongous, it's absolutely inexpugnable. That is, they are unable to be, we are unable to be outfought by them. Relentless. So, this is the way. Of course, we have suffixes that end in ORY, words that end with suffixes ORY, ARY. So, all these are several. We will do some more by the end, by the time I come to the end of this course, we will practice more. Okay. So, from here, let me take you to the reference words, words from a variety of fields. So, the first word that I wanted to do with you is alienation, which is so commonly used. It comes from the word alienate. Alienate is a verb, alienation is a noun. It has its roots in literature, philosophy, psychology, poetry and personal narratives, okay? And where people talk about universal problems of identity and alienation. So, this is a very frequently occurring word. You have to look it up, it occurs in several kinds of contexts. Man is alienated from his hostile surroundings. You are surrounded by people, but you still feel alone. That is a very simple meaning, but it is a philosophical word and therefore, it has several contexts, several meanings. It is a multi-layered, multifaceted word. So, please look it up. There is a word called Babel, B-A-B-E-L is also the title of a movie, and if you have seen the movie, you would know that in the movie there are a disparate group of people brought whose lives intersect. They may not meet each other or one another, but their lives intersect each other in a most tenuous way. So, Babel is what? A confused mix of voices. You go to a restaurant in the during the peak hours and you hear so many voices. You can say there is a Babel of conversation. So many voices, mix of voices, different people. You don't really understand, you just hear a lot of noises. So, Babel of noises is the way you use it. Babel can also mean a figurative noise or conversation. It comes from the biblical Tower of Babel story, where God confused the builders of a tower to, the idea is that people were trying to build a tower to heaven. So, God didn't want that to happen, and these builders were given, these workers were given different languages. So, that is the way, that is how several languages started. That is the origin of languages. People started speaking in different languages, no one could understand or follow one another or each other. There is utter confusion, Babel of voices, and then nothing can happen. Work gets unfinished, undone. Next word is balkanization. It describes a phenomenon or situation when a country breaks up into two or more smaller countries. So, we talk about balkanization of nations. Okay. So, certain European countries, okay, breaking into several smaller units. Yeah, it's a very political kind of a word, but then we also use it in several other contexts, balkanization, perhaps in corporate context, perhaps in political context, but it has come to become a part of our language now. There is a word called blitzkrieg. Now, this is interesting. Blitzkrieg is an intense and brutal military campaign. That's how it originated. That's the origin of the word. The noun blitzkrieg means a very quick, violent and intimidating attack by one armed force against an enemy. But it also almost always refers specifically to the German military offensive during the Second World War. The word blitzkrieg means rapid attack in the German language, from blitz or lighting. It is paired with krieg or war. The blitzkrieg waged by Germany on England in 1940 and 1941 is often referred to as the Blitz. So, rapid attack, lighting attack or lightning attack, attack the way, with swiftness and speed of lightning. So, remember these words blitzkrieg, alienation that I was already talking about. These are about heroes, or who rather non-heroes, who feel lost in the troubled world outside them and can find no identity. Blitzkrieg, how we often say blitzkrieg of words, blitzkrieg of information, but you should also know the origin. Otherwise, you won't be able to attempt or contextualize it when you actually see the word written in front of you. There is an interesting expression called curate's egg. I would like you to look it up. Curate's egg. Curate's egg. Part good, part bad. Part good, part bad. How was your day today? Nothing great. Just like curate's egg. So, this has become a part of our everyday vocabulary. I will also do a couple of idioms with you. I haven't done actual idioms so far. So, I will be doing that as part of developing your vocabulary. We have a word like diaspora, D-I-S-P-O-R-A. Diaspora is a large group of people with a similar heritage or homeland who have since moved out to places all over the world. We often say Indian diaspora, right? The term comes from an ancient Greek word meaning to scatter about. So, people are scattered about. This is what happens to diasporic people. They scatter from their homeland to places across the globe, spreading their culture as they go. The Bible refers to the diaspora of Jews exiled from Israel by the Babylonians, but the word is now also used more generally to describe any large migration of refugees, languages or cultures. We have another word which is called doppelganger. Literary. Generally, diaspora is spelled with a capital E. This is a more or less a a literary kind of a word. Someone who looks spookily like someone else. You find someone who resembles you a lot, not just in habit and temperament, but also looks like you. Okay, isn't a twin a doppelganger? It's spooky. Think of a movie like The Departed. Martin Scorsese's Departed, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon. They look alike. they act alike in different situations. Both of them are moles. Okay, so if you are aware of that, each person becomes another's doppelganger. Now, originally this was used to refer to a kind of ghost. The word is of German origin and literally meant double walker, as in a ghost or shadow of yourself. There is another word called doyen, D-O-Y-E-N. Doyen is an expert. Okay. Sunil Gavaskar, the doyen of Indian cricket. Okay. An expert in a specialized area that the others don't know as much about. Doyen is distinguished in a way that earns leadership status as indicated by the word's origin in French word dien. So, D-E-I-E-N, it has its origin in French. Woman who is an expert is doyenne, D-O-Y-E-N-N-E. So, doyenne, doyenne. Okay, so it's like a person who just leads the way, commands everyone. Doyenne. We pay a very high respect to someone when you use the word doyenne. Another word very interesting is dibuk. D-Y-B-B-U-K. It's Jewish in origin, Hebrew. In Jewish folklore and popular belief, this dibuk is an evil spirit which enters into a living person and gnaws into his or her soul, causes mental illness, talks through the person's mouth, represents a separate and alien personality, and this becomes a dibuk. Today it is also a pejorative or even humorously used. We have a word, again a French word, eminence grise, a person who exercises power or influence in certain areas without holding an official position. The person may not be really the college principal, but he could be just be an assistant, but he has so much of power in the entire situation in the organization that he or she does not really need to hold an official position. Regardless of that person's position, there is lot of power or influence. So, we use the word, it's a French word, eminence grise. We have a word like ex cathedra, which is with the full authority of the office. So, that letter has been signed or sanctioned, or the proposal has been sanctioned ex cathedra, with the full authority of the office. There is a word called frisson, which I come across quite frequently nowadays. Frisson or frisson, if you want to call it. The Latin root is frigere, like fridge, to be cold, F-R-I-G-E-R-E. And while a frisson is shivery, it sends shiver, but it's mostly used to denote or suggest thrills, a thrilling kind of shiver. Yeah, so you read something and you felt a frisson, you shivered with thrill. Furies. I am also going to do something called hubris, so I'll as well write it. So, Furies in Greek and Roman mythology, the Furies were female spirits of justice and vengeance. This is important, vengeance. They are the angry ones, angry spirits, known for pursuing people who had caused some devastation or murdered family members. The Furies punish their victims by driving them mad. Okay, so Furies, very high flying literary kind of a word. There is a word called gaucherie. not grocery, but gaucherie, Gaucherie. It's the quality of being rustic or gauche, awkward person. Okay, we were completely charmed by the gaucherie of that lady. She didn't know how to behave in a particular situation, but still we found her naive, her naivete and innocent, quite charming. It can also be used in negative way. Gaucherie, someone who is rustic, gauche, who is unsophisticated. There is a word called gauntlet. Throw in the gauntlet or run the gauntlet. It comes from the old French word for glove, which was thrown down as a symbol of a challenge. Running the gauntlet is an old military form of punishment in which the victim runs between two rows of men wearing armored gloves who beat him as he passes through the lines if someone makes you run the gauntlet. Okay? They won't really strike you with armored gloves, but they will probably make you do something miserable. It comes from military term. Here you have to run through the gauntlet. You run through two rows of men who are wearing the gloves, they will beat you up. If someone makes you run through the gauntlet, it means you have to go through the entire tedious process of getting something done. Often we say bureaucracy makes you run through the gauntlet, yeah? Makes you feel miserable. There is a word called gestalt, Gestalt, very literary. It basically means two or more parts like figure and ground that are integrated together, that we perceive them as one object. Okay? Perception of oneness from many is the basis of gestalt. It is derived from the German philosophy, meaning form or shape. Okay? That is your idea of perception, form or shape. So, many things, okay, but looking at them and your perception becomes like they are almost one. So, that is gestalt. It's the area of gestalt psychology was developed in 1912, focusing on various aspects of a person and how they combine into a whole. Various aspects combine into a whole that affects that person's relationship with his or her environment. So, that is gestalt philosophy, which is often used in education also. How an environment, aspects of environment influence the way a child or a person responds to education. Hubris. So, furies and hubris. Hubris is excess of pride or confidence. It is again from Greek mythology, where it means excessive pride, violating the bounds set for humans. Humans shouldn't have that much pride, that is the idea. Greek gods punish, they get offended when humans display so much of pride in their accomplishments. So, this hubris, if there are hubris, they are punished by the gods. Okay? So, we just say over the top self confidence. Another word from theatre is mise en scène. Putting a scene together, the physical setting of an action. In the theatre world, and that is where it comes from, mise en scène is the way props and scenery are designed and arranged. In French, mise en scène means setting on the stage, from mise or putting or placing, okay, the stage of a theatre. So, the mise en scène of the classroom, if you want to extend the analogy to that, mise en scène was set, very theatrical, very cinematic. And then there are a couple of words which come from the world of medicine, as I told you in the beginning. So, you have a word like proliferate. This word has original meaning, its derivation from biology and medicine, Now it means gates are wide open, proliferation of so many courses, proliferation of engineering colleges, so many colleges all over. And again another word that comes from the world of medicine is syndrome. Syndrome, SYNDROME. It means running together, a concurrence, a cycle of symptoms or manifestations that occur together. You also have words like viable, VIABLE, that once referred only to the chances of an organism's survival, but their use has escalated and proliferated. Now it is used, the word is used prolifically. It's a synonym for durability and even success and survival. I'll give you a list of now some popular words, okay, which I have picked randomly, not really any connection with anything, but I thought these could be of help and use to you. So, there is a word called spectrum. Spectrum in the right context means the whole range or scope. It is used often with broad or wide, broad spectrum of antibiotics. Okay, they include a lot. There is a word called tendentious, meaning promoting a certain tendency. So, from tendency noun we get tendentious adjective. Okay, promoting a certain tendency. Biased, it could be biased and controversial. There is a word like ploy, again very commonly used. Could see through the ploy. Related to the word employ and is used is a synonym for device, tactic or maneuver. Yeah. So, maneuvering something, a ploy. And there is a word like burgeon, BURGEON. It means to bud, okay, almost like proliferate. I have already given you the diminutives and where I mentioned mannequin, MANIKIN, it is a small man, small in height, a pygmy. You know, it often is used to denote a skeletal model of something. There is a word punctilio. Punctilio. What does it mean? It's adapted from Italian puntiglio. It's a small point. Okay. It is a nice point of behavior or etiquette, a nice detail of procedures about which someone is very finicky. So, very particular about or finicky about niceties. Punctilious means being attentive to small details, very fastidious, very meticulous. It depends on you whether you like the word, if it is used for you. A punctilious person, a punctilious professor, fastidious, meticulous, very, very finicky. Perfectionists are always not very well tolerated. So, if you are fastidious and you want people around you to be perfect and attentive to small details, you may not be very popular, but the job gets done perfectly. So, it is up to you. There are words like immolate and immolation. They come from the Latin word mola, MOLA, a millstone. Molars, the name of the grinding teeth is also there, is derived from the same word. The Latin word mola came to mean that thing ground, a kind of grain or meal. So, that is how it originated. In accordance with the prescribed ritual, Roman priests sprinkled this mola, finely ground grain with a portion of salt over a sacrificial animal's head. So, over the over a period of time, over centuries, the word has become literally the act of sacrifice, applied to sacrificing yourself. So, immolate oneself. So, thank you very much. With this, we come to the end of today's class. We will continue with more interesting words subsequent classes, in our subsequent classes. Thank you.